Okay, it's time for another LiveWire SPAC update. It's September 9th, 2022, and LiveWire is planning to go public on the New York Stock Exchange later this month. And we're going to give update information. This is actually the third video update that I've done. The first one was on July 22nd, where I reviewed the information on the SPAC. I recommended that LiveWire put a hold on it and not do the SPAC, mainly because it was bad market timing. The market was down, SPACs were way down. I felt that Del Mar was not competitive because it didn't have DC fast charging, and I was concerned about LiveWire's murky sales and marketing program, which I believed was not headed the right way in terms of selling motorcycles. August 9th, I did an urgent update because the Biden administration revived the Inflation Reduction Act, which had huge EV tax credits in it, $7,500 a vehicle. And I was very excited that motorcycles would be included in that, like they had been in previous, tax credits for EVs in the United States. And I basically said that the EV tax credit program was so substantial, and the Inflation Reduction Act was so substantial in terms of building out EV infrastructures and incentivizing EVs, that it would basically overcome any of the problems that I had talked about in my July 22nd video. Now, the EV tax credits did not come to fruition. They were not included. They were actually taken out of the Inflation Reduction Act bill, and so as it stands right now, there are no tax credits. So as of September 9th, I'm going to talk about the LiveWire SPAC update as it relates to IMPX, which is the group that is the Cayman Islands shell that's on the New York Stock Exchange, that's going to be merged into LiveWire with the LVW ticker later this month. And we're going to talk about some interesting possibilities and what my thoughts are right now in terms of LiveWire going forward with the SPAC. So what I want to look at right now is the last 30 days, what's basically happened since my last video about the SPAC. And of course, the main thing is there is no EV tax credit, period, none. No two-wheel vehicles, no, I think they're calling them recreational vehicles, just no tax credit, period. IMPX is slightly up on the New York Stock Exchange with a $500 million market cap, which includes $400 million from AEA Impact Corp and $100 million from Farley. So the $500 million is sitting right there on the balance sheet, ready to go. Also, Michael Burry, who's known for the Big Short. He's the guy that made a lot of money when the housing market went down. They made a movie about him. Anyway, he's still got a $10 million investment in IMPX, which is what LiveWire is going to merge with. So that's very interesting that he's got $10 million in there. We're going to talk about that. The LiveWire one is still enjoying excellent industry reviews, especially lately on some of the AmiNoob stuff. It's really been good. Hundreds of thousands of people are viewing that and getting very good information and positive information about the LiveWire. Del Mar, it's absolutely clear now that they're going to stick with level 2 charging and not do DC fast charging. We're going to talk about that. And the New York Stock Exchange listing for LiveWire is set for later this month. There's actually an October 6th deadline in the filings that they made. So if it doesn't happen by October 6th, they're going to liquidate it and give everybody their money back. So it's got to happen the end of this month. So that's where we stand right now. Now, I want to talk about some interesting possibilities for LiveWire and some things that might happen that would be good for the SPAC. The first thing is you may recognize that guy on the motorcycle. You probably absolutely recognize the motorcycle. It's a 1942 Knucklehead. It's a WLA Navy bike. The guy sitting on it is Jim Farley, who's the president of the Ford Motor Company. And of course, he is also on the board of Harley Davidson. Now, the interesting thing about that is I believe that there is a giant possibility for a marketing and sales alignment with Ford and LiveWire, mainly because they're both basically doing the same thing. The Del Mar and the F-150 Lightning, and of course the Ford Mach-E, those are all trying to convert people from ICE vehicles to the EV lifestyle, so to speak. The Del Mar can actually fit nicely in the back of the Ford F-150 Lightning. The Lightning can actually charge it as it's going down the streets. You could toss a couple Del Mars in the back of the truck and go out and do some flat track racing or ride around. The companies have done joint marketing in the past. There's Harley Davidson editions of Ford pickup trucks, etc. Also, I don't know if it's well known, but Harley's VP of Design actually came from Ford, where he was the chief designer during the Ford Raptor project. Now, as I understand it, and I don't know all of the folklore, but I believe he was recruited directly by Willie G. Davidson, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, as I mentioned, Jim Farley, there he is on the bike. He's president of Ford. He's on the board of Harley Davidson, and he and Joachim Zeitz are basically the same age. I think they're probably friends. They both are trying to do the same thing on very big companies. And, they're both trying to transition customers from, ICE vehicles to EVs. So I think there's going to be some real dynamism there and a real opportunity for partnerships with Ford and possibly other companies that would really help to promote the EV lifestyle. Next, I want to talk about Michael Burry and why he is invested in IMPX. That's the AEA Impact Corp. When I did some research on him, I found out that as he was growing up, he basically had a lot of admiration for Warren Buffett. He's kind of like a student of Warren Buffett, so to speak, always reading about him and following closely what he was doing. And Warren Buffett, I don't know if people remember this, but in 2009, he loaned $300 million to Harley Davidson to help them out of a tight squeeze when we had the big recession. And when asked why he did it, he said, any company that gets its customers to tattoo ads on their chest can't be all bad. So Warren Buffett is interested in Harley Davidson. And the other thing, too, that people might not be aware of is Warren Buffett made a big investment in BYD, which is a Chinese electric car maker, in 2008, when the car maker was very small and just getting started. He basically put in $232 million into the company in 2008. So that's, way before, the Model S. That's when Tesla was still running around with a little roadster. And that money that he put in there is now worth $7.5 billion. So it was, I don't know what that is, I guess a 1,000% increase or something, I guess bigger than that. But anyway, made a huge amount of money doing that. So that was an early EV play when Buffett felt that there was going to be a transition from ICE vehicles to EV vehicles. So he saw that was going to be a trend in 2008, and he put his money down, and he got more fabulously wealthy by doing that. Now, Burry may be investing in LiveWire as part of an early EV play, like Buffett did with BYD in 2008. So that's just my conjecture, but I think it's a possibility. And when you think about it, after reading the SPAC and thinking about it and reading it some more and thinking about it some more, I think what the main thing is with this SPAC is that Harley is the only OEM with an electric motorcycle that can manufacture and distribute at scale worldwide. Nobody else has got a bike. Nobody else can do it at scale. I mean, Zero can't do it. Energica can't do it. They don't have the worldwide distribution and the manufacturing and the money that Harley does to make this happen. And the other OEMs, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, they haven't got anything going. I mean, Harley has been working on this LiveWire thing, I guess, since 2010. So they have a giant lead on everybody else, and they're executing on the plan to, convert people to electric motorcycles. So anyway, I'm very critical of the sales and marketing at LiveWire, but I wanted to talk about what they're doing right. I talk a lot in my videos about what they're doing wrong, but here's what they're doing right. They're investing in a distribution channel to sell electric motorcycles. They have the LiveWire Experience Center, which I noticed lately has been hiring people and growing and giving great customer service to me anyway. They also are recruiting Harley-Davidson dealers that will commit staff, floor space, and participate in LiveWire's marketing programs. Now, I've been to several of these dealers. I was to one in Salt Lake City that was really interesting. I went in there. Not only did they have 2 LiveWires there in a demo bike, but they had 2 people that were really well trained on it and really knew what they were talking about, and they represented the LiveWire with enthusiasm. Outside, there were 4 DC fast chargers sitting up, so I mean, they were really on fire about the EV, the whole EV lifestyle, and really seemed to be doing something good. And I had a similar experience with other Harley dealerships that I've been at. In the old days, when I say the old days, last year was kind of like, hey, you spend more time charging than you do riding. Now those attitudes are starting to change, and people are, starting to understand a little bit more about the motorcycle and how it works. So they're doing that right. The other thing is pop-up stores. Now, I've seen this on a small scale around Southern California, but what I think needs to happen is these pop-up stores need to start happening at dealerships that sell the Ford Mach-E and the 150 Lightning, the F-150 Lightning. I mean, that would really be cool to start packaging the marketing of not only pickup trucks, but motorcycles, all the thing, put it all in a package. But I think this pop-up could be very strong. Also, the online sales, very well done website. I would still like it to reflect more information about the environment and the cost savings of having LiveWire, but it's getting better. They recently added a bunch of swag to the site, which is really cool. So I mean, I can see some progress there. And secondly, they have a very successful traveling demo truck that has LiveWires on it. And they travel around the country giving demo rides to thousands of people. Now, I don't know how many thousand. I heard it was over 3,000. I don't know if that's true. But they're going to all the big events. They're going to dealerships. They're going to EV shows. And they're letting people ride these bikes and really getting the brand awareness and building the awareness of EV motorcycles and how good they really are. And then lastly, and I think the thing that LiveWire has done best, is they have a hugely successful public relations effort. All the power sports media, all the magazines, all the online magazines, and all the social media influencers have identified the LiveWire 1 as the industry leading electric motorcycle. I mean, and that's they're doing it with everybody. They're giving putting a lot of bikes in the press pool. They're dealing with a lot of YouTubers and a lot of influencers, and they're getting really good results. And I was really happy to see some of the Yami Noob videos lately. He's a motorcycle channel with I think 1.2 million subscribers, hundreds of thousands of hits right away on his electric vehicle comparison videos where they compare LiveWire to other electric motorcycles, and just really having a lot of success there and really doing a good job in picking who they give the bikes to and following up to make sure that they're getting the good results. So, LiveWire's got that going on for the sales and marketing. Now, what about the DC fast charging on Del Mar. Now, I've done videos about this on the past. I've put a lot of information out there, but I believe that the lack of DC fast charging on the Del Mar is a giant product marketing blunder on LiveWire's part for a variety of reasons. So I'm not going to go into it right here, but I believe very strongly that they made a giant mistake by not having the bike DC fast charge. So that being said, it's clear to me that the Del Mar is a completely new class of electric motorcycle. It's not like any other electric motorcycle out there. It doesn't look like any other motorcycle out there. And that I believe that it will expand the market and introduce new customers to motorcycling because it looks really cool. It's a substantially lower price than the LiveWire one. It's $15,000 as compared to $22,000. So I mean, it's a lower price bike. And I've been, talking a lot to the LiveWire people about it and, why it doesn't have charging and everything. And what they're coming back with, and I think they may be right in this regard, is that the Del Mar is an electric motorcycle and the LiveWire 1 is a Halo product, a high-end electric motorcycle, and that customers who require DC fast charging can be upsold to a LiveWire 1. So the idea being is that if you don't need DC fast charging, you get away for $15,000, and if you want it, you get away for $22,000. Now, that's the logic. I understand the logic. I don't agree with it, but I think it will work, okay? But the fact that you're going to be able to, charge a LiveWire 1 on Tesla superchargers and DC fast chargers and everything else, I think that they're missing an opportunity. I won't get into it too much more, but I've got a reservation for one of the first 100 bikes. I'm absolutely going to go through and get it. I'm sure I'm really going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to be too sour grapes because if I do need DC fast charging, I'll just take my LiveWire 1. So that's how I'm looking at that. Now, in terms of EV tax credits for motorcycles, there has been a giant problem here, and I haven't really figured out why the EV credits are not there for motorcycles, but I wanted to let you know about some information I dug up on LinkedIn, okay? Ed Moreland, who was the VP of Government Affairs at Harley-Davidson, left Harley-Davidson and went to Rockwell Automation 30 days before the Inflation Reduction Act was revised and passed by the Biden administration. Now, I don't know if you follow politics as closely as I do, but what happened is they were keeping it kind of quiet. They were doing it in the background kind of, and then when they got everybody on board, they came out at the last minute, the Democrats did, and got this thing passed by one vote. It was pretty crazy, but it was done at the last minute. It was a giant bill, or is a giant bill, billions and billions of dollars spent on electric vehicle subsidies and infrastructures. And as of today, the VP position is still unfilled at Harley-Davidson. So Harley-Davidson, when I say Harley-Davidson, the government affairs at Harley-Davidson has completely fumbled the ball. Ed Moreland is gone. He went just before all this stuff went down, and they have a manager of government affairs, but they need a vice presidential level guy that reports directly to the president, Jochen Zeitz, and gets this thing done. I mean, this is very, very important. There's billions of dollars out there, and LiveWire motorcycles are designed in the United States. They're manufactured in Pennsylvania, which is Biden's home state, by union labor. So, Biden's a big union guy. So, I mean, these bikes are built in a union shop in Pennsylvania. It's about 150 miles from where Biden lives. So, I mean, there's just no excuse for Harley-Davidson not being part of the program. And just to point out, the LiveWire 1 is more efficient per passenger mile, up to 2 passengers, than a Tesla Model 3. So there's just, it has to be done. I mean, this is a giant oversight. They need to get some lobbyists, and they need to get the EV tax credit program for LiveWire motorcycles, for like the Del Mar and the LiveWire 1. It just must be done. So I hope that LiveWire is going to put some attention on this and get this done, because the bill that's been passed runs for 10 years, and all you have to do is get your vehicle listed on an IRS form, and you can claim it. So, this needs to happen, and they need to spend some money on some lobbyists, and they need to get this done. I mean, Harley Davidson is an American brand. They're doing a great job. They're doing a leadership job in converting people to, electric vehicles. This just has to happen. It just has to get done. So anyway, I wanted to give the last part of my presentation to my favorite words of wisdom from Willie G. Davidson.
But I just, in my final comment, I just want to talk about riding. I've always used the words nature magnified, one-on-one with the elements, and a bond with the riders. Many have become lifetime friends. So last but not least, the AMA is our valuable friend representing us. Freedom is everything, especially in today's world, what's going on. I mean, when I write Ride Free Willie G, that's everything. We lose our freedom, we've had it. We lose our right to ride, we've had it. So, thank you, AMA. Thank you for tonight. Motorcycling has been a very exciting life for me and my family, and I'm just thrilled to be up here and ride free, all of you.